Hello, welcome to Kodsnack. This episode is presented in English, and it's mainly a recording from this year's Gothenburg Startup Hack. Startup Hack is a one-day hackathon which takes place in new interesting locations each year. The first time I attended, we were on a boat cruising through the archipelagos outside of Gothenburg while people were hacking away at their projects. Last year we were at the top of one of the tallest hotels in Gothenburg, and this year we were in the middle of town in two circus tents, which was pretty awesome. You can actually hear the birds chirping. It was a perfect summer day. Last year I participated or contributed by hosting a panel discussion about startups. And that's been recorded and it's available as an episode. As usual, the link is in the show notes. And this year we chose to, do a little promotion of other social activities for developers and other people interested in coding and design. And we did that by talking to people who arrange meetups around Gothenburg. So this episode is two discussions with meetup group arrangers. Completely by coincidence, they're both named Erik. So first I'll be talking to Erik Thorelli from the Sketch and Design meetup. The second part is a discussion with Erik Larkö of the Bring Your Own Project meetup group where, well, he'll describe it better himself. You'll hear. It's also a really interesting discussion. So thanks again to Startup Hack for allowing me to get to talk to interesting people in a new location. And as usual, you can find links to everything we mentioned and other episode information both in inside your podcast player right at this moment and also at kodsnack.se, kodsnack.se. And you can get in touch with us on Twitter. We're Kodsnack, Kodsnack. So let's roll the tape.
All right. They told us to start talking in here and make noise and stuff. So if anyone wants to make noise, just come. Be glad he didn't have the microphone. So the interesting part is that we're here to sort of promote all the other great tech-related socializing you can do in Gothenburg. And a big part of that is attending and perhaps even organizing meetups. So I'm going to talk to actually two Eriks. Complete coincidence. Wasn't their fault. About two of the nice meetups we're arranging in this town. And first out is Erik from the Sketch and Design meetup.
Yep.
Erik, what is the Sketch and Design meetup?
The Sketch and Design meetup is a hands-on meetup. So we meet up once every 6 weeks or so to talk about Sketch, talk about like workflow or plugins or something like that, and then do like a demo and then hands-on workshop to actually try this stuff out.
And I have to admit, I'm one of those developers who never attended a meetup with design in the name. So what is Sketch all about?
Well, first, I hope you come to the next meetup.
Me too. I've seen some of this presentation.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited about it.
So Sketch is a design tool specifically built to make UI for web, mobile, desktop applications. Even smartwatch applications, if you're into that kind of thing. Basically, it's a very simple interface, just built to make those kinds of things. So it's not like so cluttered as like an Adobe product or something like that. And you can just like dive right in. Everything's in vector too, so you can make a small thing really big, no problem. So I help organize the Sketch meetup, and then I also work at a startup called Bionote. But it's kind of enough about talking about Sketch, so I'll just try to demo.
This interesting idea of showing a design tool instead of just describing it. It was interesting. New worlds are opening up for me. So
I'm going to make...
yes, Moom, I know that.
Moom is a really good tool.
It'll be in the show notes.
Yeah, so
somewhere, I promise.
Whoa. So I figured a lot of people come with a lot of prep when they're demoing something. But I think that's actually not doing Sketch a service because it's so easy to make something. So in the Sketch environment, I'm going to demo making a wireframe just in vanilla Sketch without any plugins. So first I'll create an artboard. You can choose like, let's do iPhone 7 Plus. And I want to make a Kodsnack app.
I'm not sponsoring this, by the way.
No.
At least I don't think I am.
No, but I'll charge you for it. So first we need a status bar, right? Then we need like, let's say like an app title bar. You see like everything like snaps together and you get measurements and all that. Then we want to be able to search for podcasts. So make like a little search bar, give it a little rounded edges. Then I guess we'll make, I should say like we were joking about this earlier, the keyboard shortcuts, I'm using those because they're so ridiculously easy in Sketch. Like, so to draw those rectangles, I just press R, like not even Command R.
I'm getting suspicious.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
No way this can work.
And then for circles or for ovals, it's O. So that'll be like, we'll do a little icon for each podcast episode, and then a little description, I guess. And then we can just group that, duplicate it, and go like that. Then we should have like a tab bar, I guess, maybe with some tabs. And yeah, so we have like a basic wireframe, like as simple as you can get in like less than 2 minutes. So this is useful for just kind of visualizing what the heck you're going to try to build and see like, oh, maybe this doesn't make sense for this kind of application. But the crazy thing about Sketch is that this took longer than using like the built-in templates. So let's say we want to make like an iOS version of this. So we'll do one more iPhone 7 app here. So we'll choose like, what else do we need? Status bar. These are like the super important things you need.
A full battery. That's the important part.
Yeah, so I'll spend like 10 minutes just adjusting the battery level.
It's worth it.
Yeah, totally worth it. What else we need? Search box. I think that one's fine. Just bring that in and yeah. And then we'll just use like the default iOS messages.
So what's John Appleseed? What's up with that guy?
I don't know.
He should have been filtered for spam already.
It would suck if you're like a 40-year-old guy named John Appleseed. You just like went around like enjoyed your life for the first 20 years, and then everyone's like, "Why are you in every single Apple?"
Just shows up.
So now I'm in symbols. That's a level of complexity we don't need right now. So this was a symbol, and that like is a really powerful way to like organize, so you can reproduce and use the components, and they change everywhere when you change one. But I won't get into that. So we will say like episode. You're on like episode 600 or something.
205, I think.
Okay,
something like that. Approximation.
DevUX.
Yes.
What the heck is that? So that's today. And again, we can just like duplicate these things and grab that and put that in there. And then we can figure out what to do with those.
Yeah, it looks pretty nice.
Yeah.
It was quicker than writing it in code.
Yeah.
But I'm still a developer, so
yeah.
This looks nice. Can I use it for something?
No, not at all.
Ah,
no.
Fine. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, seriously. Actually, so you can do a ton of stuff. I just pulled up like a few different tools. So this is a Sketch website. If you want to try it, they have like a 2-week trial. Otherwise, it's $100. What you can do is you can win a free T-shirt. No.
I could do that.
I signed up once, like 2 years ago. I never got.
You didn't win a T-shirt. Why didn't you? Should have
know.
said yes in the box.
Yeah. So this is a really common tool called Invision. I don't know if anyone's heard of that. But basically, you can upload any kind of screens or wireframes, whatever you want, any kind of PNG or whatever. And you can draw little boxes around things and have it navigate. So you can prototype really quickly, which is still on the design side.
Yep. It's really, really cool, but it still feels kind of like a design tool. What can I use it for? They'll just bring it to me as an image, a really big PNG in the best of cases, and tell me, can we do this?
Yeah. So, that's what I was thinking is I just drop you a PNG and then have you just need to implement it. So it's just code. There's some other tools. There's one now that just came out into beta 1.0. I don't really know what that means. Finished but buggy. This one works right in Sketch. You can link and animate transitions from different screens you make, and then it builds Xcode project.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
And you can link it into like backends or APIs or whatever you want. And then I know that you're really big into React. So Airbnb released this, a tool they built in-house that render React components to Sketch, tailor-made for design systems. So in this, if you already have a React app up and running, you can export that React app to Sketch so a designer can change whatever they want, and then you can diff.
Okay. Now we're getting somewhere.
So yeah, there's a lot you can do with Sketch. But the beautiful thing about Sketch is like you can start with just like this very basic thing that you want to do. Like maybe you've never designed anything before. Maybe you have like an idea for an app, and you want to see like, okay, I have an idea, but what would it actually look like? And you can do that in like half an hour, create a dozen screens or something.
And then actually bring it on to code if I want to.
Yeah.
It's starting to sound appealing.
Yeah.
Even for me.
Yeah. I should also say that the new Sketch file format is in JSON. So
it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice.
So you can just parse that and you get pixel perfect. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
and everything's vectors.
Yeah, everything's in vectors. Yeah. That's Sketch.
That's Sketch.
Yeah.
It might come in handy. I might need to join the meetup.
Yeah. We also raffle out occasionally Sketch licenses at the meetup. So
now you're basically trying to bribe me, right?
Basically.
Yeah. So we were talking about this before we went on stage. It feels like, this isn't just designers getting closer to code. This is perhaps a bit of coders getting closer to design as well. And perhaps there is another side to it where I don't know if this is especially developers or it's just the side I see, but at least in React there seems to be a trend. I would really like to bring everything into my code so I can control it. It's sort of a dual direction there.
Yeah.
This may be something Sketch tools like it can help prevent, I guess. Keep people talking to each other.
Yeah. I mean, like you pointed out too, like even if you're like a one-man dev army and you don't want to have any designers on your team or something like that, it's still really good to just take the time and use something like Sketch to design your application. I mean, it's faster than like fiddling around with CSS and like watching
certainly.
The hot reload if you're building the React.
Oh yeah. The pros can get it to work. Yeah. I'm told. I've seen it in videos. It must be true. They say it's true. I hope it's true. Yes, and I can see it perhaps being easier to get into as a one-man team. Yeah. An army of one. But people use it pretty efficiently in large organizations too. I understand.
Yeah.
Do you know anything like how do they do it?
I I mean, open source companies like Facebook and Airbnb and others are releasing lots of tools, like tools they build in-house to work between Sketch and whatever development tools they're using. I think that it helps reduce waste. So instead of like a situation where like a caricature of a designer and developer, the designer like creates something that's like amazingly beautiful, it's super slick, and they're like, here, they hand it off, here, it's done. And then you look at it and you're like, yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah. What do with it?
Yeah,
Where
there's
does
no
it
way
go?
to implement this thing.
Yeah.
Give me like 5 years or something. But I think what you can do, since it's so fast to make things in Sketch and it's so easy, you can both have like back and forth real quick and do sort of, we were talking about this earlier, like asymmetrical pair programming and designing. Yeah. So where you have like a programmer working with a designer, watching the designer build things, and be like, no, I can't do that. Yeah. But also get in touch with like, okay, how is this designer working? How are they thinking? Because developers tend to think in systems. Like, yeah, here's my system. It's amazing. Like,
I want to emphasize my.
Yeah, exactly. But and then you wind up in this problem where you have like users that are using it wrong. Yeah, you want to fire like your users.
Oh yeah, it's like me and this microphone. Actually, it's a pretty good example.
But a designer is going to think, like a good designer is going to think in terms of the user. Like, how is the user going to do the things that we want them to do, or the things that we think they'll like to do, or something like that. And you need both of those things. You need a system that works, but a system that's for the user.
So the way I understand it, you can basically set up many different kinds of workflows around Sketch. You really don't have to have this original, prejudiced developer idea that this is something that produces design stuff that lands over here and it's sort of one way.
Yeah.
You can actually keep working in Sketch and then do stuff in code and then go back to Sketch and send stuff back and forth. Yeah. And it just works. Yeah, basically. I mean, it's the community around Sketch is really powerful. Like people are building amazing plugins like every day. I get like a weekly email newsletter of Sketch plugins, and it's sort of like, wow, like this building an Xcode project straight from Sketch. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's so many tools. I think that like every developer on a team, if the designers are using Sketch, the developer should also have Sketch and should be familiar with how it works. Yeah, so I was thinking for a little while there that perhaps I should think about Sketch like maybe a sort of compiler for design or something, that people do design and then Sketch sort of can compile it down to code, but really this is even beyond that. It's actually just using another sort of much better looking window to the code. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. So is there any particular like limitation or hurdle I should know about, or? I don't think you should quit being a developer. Just I'm so glad you said that. I didn't dare ask. Limitations. Yeah, I mean, you're going to wind up with like edge cases that you haven't thought of in the design, and they end up being like an ops problem, and so you need to like fix that. Yeah. So that what you're building in development is actually working in the real world. But I think for like producing like the regular cases and like regular views, Sketch is super good. There aren't really many limitations. It's not opinionated, like it's not closed like Adobe software. You don't have to pay like $20 per plugin or something like that. You pay once. Yeah. It's really strange. Yeah. It's like things used to be. Yeah. Way back in the day. Yeah. It's I want to ask like little detailed questions. Like if I make a view and then I make a sketch design and then I create this Xcode project and then I change a bunch of stuff in the Xcode project, does it go back to Sketch? Can I close the loop and have the change design back there?
Yeah, so in Quickly, this new plug-in app to build Xcode projects from Sketch, I wouldn't use that in production. I would use that to build like prototypes, but prototypes that people could download through like Test Lite on iOS or Beta Program on Android or something. I think that, I mean, so they built like without getting like too into it, they have like a UI kit a custom UI kit that they built and it uses, so you'd probably want to steer away from that.
Oh, yeah. Or be really, really stuck in their things.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that Sketch in like the community is not going to replace coding, but it's like this convergence of tools, like convergence on the design side, like you were saying earlier, to getting closer to the code, so that both developers and designers can talk and understand each other.
I might have to start talking to designers. It feels really weird, but feels weird, but in a good way. I promise. So there. Anything else you want to add to the end here? Join the meetup. Do you have any other favorite meetups, by the way?
Well, there's the Got.UX, which is I think the biggest design meetup in Gothenburg. The React meetup I go to.
It's a good one. Yeah. It's a really big one too.
Yeah, it's gigantic. I think those are great meetups.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Erik.
Thank you.
We'll be back in maybe 15 minutes with another Erik and another meetup. Thank you.
So that was Erik Thorelli and the Sketch and Design meetup. And next up is my discussion with Erik Larkö of the Bring Your Own Project group.
Welcome. Woo! Make noise, they said. Hi. So I thought I'd talk to another Erik.
Hello.
A theme, I guess. Hello, Erik. Oh.
Hi.
What's your meetup and where did it come from?
Yeah, so I organized a meetup called Bring Your Own Project, which I started doing it because I had a lot of semi-empty GitHub projects, and I wanted to have them not be empty or semi-empty GitHub projects anymore. So I wanted somewhere where I could actually force myself to work, because when I come home from my day job as a developer, I don't always have the energy or the inspiration to write code on my side projects or stuff that I want to write to learn and all the other reasons that I do side projects. So I wanted a place where I could come and sit and kind of like be socially forced to work on my side projects.
It's almost a sort of guilt thing, isn't it? If I'm here, I can't shy away from it. But I really know what you mean. I really felt the need for this group as soon as I saw it when it was started, because I'm even... What do you say? Shorter along the path? Because I don't even have the empty GitHub projects. Just this vague feeling that it would be fun to code a bit more on the side. But it's the same thing. Just like you say, I come home and tired. How do I get around to it? Oh, there's something else I can look at.
Yeah. What is it that makes you feel like you want to code something? Yeah. What is that feeling?
That's a good question. It's a lot of different things. One of them is guilt, I guess, or something like it.
Yeah, because if I don't do side projects, then I'm not a real developer.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah. I'm still
I hate
so.
that.
Yeah, I know it's not true, and I'm still so stuck in it.
Yeah.
But
there are so many companies that perpetuate that myth. Like we only hire developers that have side projects and stuff, and I think that's really unfair.
Yeah, and I mean, I know so many good developers who don't really do many side projects either. I mean, some of the people I really look up to don't have any side projects. I shouldn't feel forced to, but to come to the more positive stuff, there are so many interesting technologies and stuff I would like to explore.
Yeah, and that is the feeling that I feel it's important that Bring Your Own Project makes you guys feel, if you would come to the meetup, that I want to work on my side projects because I do it for me. I do it because I want to try out some new technology. I want to do it because I want to create something, not just it looks good on the resume, or I want my GitHub pull graph to be green or something like that. It should be something that you want.
Yeah.
And also a place where not only people like me, white young guys, can come and do work. It should be an open place where even if you're not a very good anything, if you're a designer or a developer or whatever, and you don't have confidence in your ability, you might not want to publish your code to GitHub because of reasons, like you're afraid you're going to get judged. Yeah. And I think that's another really important thing to remove. Like, we do this because we want to do this. We do it because we want to create stuff. That is why we should do our side projects.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be good by some kind of higher standard or higher goal. You don't have to reach for anything. It doesn't have to be professional, whatever that means.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have a friend who I think embodies this in a great way. He's called Pierre, and whenever he gets an idea, he gets totally immersed in that idea for a few days, and he actually gets something out of the door. And he has done 100 side projects or whatever. And the cool thing about what he does is not that he has done a lot of side projects, but he has created a lot of things, and he really loves creating stuff. Yeah. And that is what I find inspiring, and that is why. Yeah. What I think this meetup should be, the Bring Your Own Project meetup should be.
Yeah, and someone like me, I have so many, I guess it's mental hang-ups around this, because I would like to be like that. I'm super inspired by people who just, I want to do this thing, and then they just do it.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah, but I have some kind of blocking because I'm really bad at finding side projects. It's like I see a new technology and something, this sounds really fun to play with, like Sketch, and then I sit down and then, but I want to create something. I want to do something meaningful with it. I don't have any ideas.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with me?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing is wrong. And maybe the way you attack the project could be another way, I want to create something and then find a technology to do it in rather than the other way around. But it's also really cool to I want to learn this because I want to try it out. Yeah. And then you could do, I think it's John Carmack who does the same game in new programming languages, right?
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, so whenever he wants to try a new framework or whatever, he does the same thing because that's an easy way to figure out what you want to do. Yeah. And also compare the technologies and see what you learn from it. If learning is the driving force, which is an awesome driving force, of course.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, but it's so weird because I think I mainly have this hang up when it comes to code. Mm-hmm. I do quite a bit of writing by myself. Yeah, just for the sake of writing. I don't have that problem there. But for some reason I sort of give myself this mental problem that code, it has to be, I don't know, maybe useful or something like that. It's this fallacy of wanting to do something and then comparing yourself to the entirety of the best of the internet.
Yeah,
it's like, I can't do that.
Yeah, you're not really doing it for yourself in that.
No,
case,
that's
right?
the problem.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of people do it, and I do it too. I want my GitHub page to be cool. That is something that I would be. Yeah, I want to be Dan Abramov or whoever famous coder. That's an inspiration. Yeah. But it's a really, really difficult image and a really thing that's hard. A really unattainable thing, or not unattainable, but hard to attain.
No, that's.
But yeah, and what I think that Bring Your Own Project does is everybody can be Pierre, but if you're in a room where a lot of people just do stuff that they like, you're gonna get inspired.
Yeah, it's super inspiring.
Yeah, so it really removes a lot of the. Yeah, I'd rather just watch Netflix or yeah.
Yeah, and it's. I keep thinking about this, like being that other person. It's such, or aspiring to do what someone else is doing. There's this really good quote by Douglas Adams. I think I've said it a million times, at least in my own head. I use it to remind myself, because he said that he wanted for the longest time to be John Cleese. But it turned out that job was already taken. And now I look at him and I say, it would be so cool to be Douglas Adams. And it's like, oh, wait a minute, that's taken. But the thing you can do is actually, I noticed, being myself. For some reason, that I'm kind of good at that.
Yeah, obviously.
Well, it's not so obvious until you start thinking about it.
But yeah. And it's important to understand why you do stuff. Why do you want to be John Cleese?
Yeah.
Like what is it that I actually want to do? And because otherwise you're gonna wake up in your 40s and buy the sports car and be really unhappy with yourself because you don't even know what you want to do.
No,
it's really important to understand that.
I bought a sports car and I crashed it. Now what? I think Douglas Adams did that as well, actually. So.
Yeah, but and it's hard. It's really, really hard. And a lot of our developer culture makes it even more difficult because we follow people on Twitter.
Yeah.
And we want to be like them. We hear a lot about rockstar developers. We go to events that's sponsored by Netflix and Google, and it would be so cool to work there, but only the really good people can work there. Yeah. And I think that is a really self-inflicted barrier.
Oh,
to,
yes.
Yeah. I'm not good at wording it, but like we destroy our own opportunities as an industry. By doing that,
you get an idea and your first thought is, wait, let me check the internet. Maybe someone has done it better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Instead of maybe there's something to compare to or be inspired by or take ideas from. This strange feeling that you have to be first for it to be worthwhile. But every time I write something, even if someone else has done it, damn it if I don't learn something and have fun.
Yeah, that's a really good point. There's another meetup in Gothenburg called Startup Lounge. No, the Lounge Hackers.
Lounge Hackers, yeah.
The
organizer is here somewhere as well.
Yeah, I think she's in the...
Yeah, she's not named Erik, though.
No, damn.
We break up.
They meet every week at a really cool location.
They meet in a lounge. It's really nice and relaxed.
Yeah, and then I think that's important too. Like it's regular, so if I can make it this week, maybe I can do it next week.
Yeah.
And it's and they're also really, really open and.
That's a really super nice and relaxed one as well. You meet for a few hours, and you can always come back in a week.
Because Bring Your Own Project has the meetup that I organize has a presentation at the start. Around 20 minutes where someone presents a side project that they have done. And the idea behind that is that I want to get, motivated to complete my projects because I want to present it to people. And also it's a way for other people to see what can be done to get inspiration themselves. Yeah. Like, this TCP IP stack is really cool. Maybe I can do that too. And then... but Lounge Hackers is more relaxed in that way, that you just go there and sit and code. So I think the two meetups really work well together. Because Bring Your Own Project is once every month-ish, and Lounge Hackers is every week. So I think they really have a good synergy between them. I really like that they started pretty much at the same time. And,
there was a need, clearly.
So it was. I think if you have a lot of things that you want to do, but you can't really take the time or whatever, just go to one of these meetups once and try it out, because I think you will find that you are going to work for a few hours on your project, and then at least for me, I only need to, or not only, but I often need to get over some kind of hurdle. Yeah. Like I need to start coding on my side project, and then it's all I can think about for a few days.
Yeah.
And that momentum is easy to build at these meetups.
Yeah, it's funny that about hurdles for things, because I have them all the time about stuff. I think about doing something, especially with code, other things as well, and then I start thinking, this thing feels kind of, there's a hurdle here somehow, and I've noticed that those hurdles, once I get down to sometimes I can find the actual thing that made it feel like a hurdle, and sometimes it's stuff like, I had to look up how to write to a file again because I don't remember it. And that was the actual thing that did it.
Yeah, it's such a small thing.
Yeah. Right? I don't know how it happens, but
Yeah, it happens often. And there's also, like, at least for me, especially when I'm doing learning projects, like projects that I want to do because I want to learn React or some other new framework, then I very often get caught up in I have to do this the right way.
Yeah.
And then I get really locked down, and then I don't get any work done, or I usually like work on the side project for 1 hour, and then I have no idea how to do this, so I'm just going to give up. And that fear of failure, I guess it is. Like I'm really afraid of failing. I suppose, at least in this case, I think that's very common too. Like, if I can't get this right, I'm not going to show it to anyone.
Oh yeah.
And it's not going to be public, my failure. I don't want it to be public, of course. But I think we need, if you can get past that, and of course you need some kind of base confidence to be able to get past that. But if you can get past that and actually dare to fail, I guess. And it sounds a bit cliche now, but I think it's really important in programming because it's fucking hard, and you're not gonna get it right. You're gonna fail all the time, and the sooner you learn that, the happier you're gonna be. I read this amazing article by Helen V. Holmes. She's a designer and developer and a baker, actually, and she wrote about how to handle critique, and I think that's a big part of it. And I think you should look her up and read the article because I can't tell it the way she does, but it's really hard to receive critique, and we do it all the time in programming because we do pull requests all the time. And even at Bring Your Own Project, when you do your presentation, people are going to critique your project, and hopefully we do it in a good way. And that's what I really try to emphasize when people talk about the project afterwards, that you have to be a good person about it. And so go look up her article, Helen V. Holmes.
We'll put it in some kind of show notes somewhere, I'm sure. I consider you better at starting projects than I am. So to my eye, it could be all wrong. It doesn't matter. But you talked about finishing projects to show them to people. Yeah. Is it important to finish projects for you? And what is finishing a project? Does it matter?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever finished a project.
No.
Ever. I have a project that I can show people that buys random purple stuff on Amazon. It's really useless. But I used it to learn.
What do you mean?
I used it to learn Go, and I've learned Go. So in that way, I don't know Go, but I'm productive in Go. And so in that case, or in that aspect, the project is done. Yeah. So I don't consider that project a work in progress anymore.
No.
I guess so maybe it's kind of done. But it again depends on why you do stuff. If you want to learn, you're done when you learned it. Yeah. But I have a project where it's a Pong game that you use AI to control the paddles. So you program your paddle. If you've ever done Robocode or thecodinggame.com or some other stuff, it's like that, but with Pong. So you say, if the enemy paddle is here and the ball is here, I want to put my paddle here. And that project I did not because I wanted to learn, because I didn't use any new technologies. I did it because I wanted to try out the idea. Yeah. And it was really fun doing it. And then me and some friends played it, and it was awesome. So even though there are still a lot of things to do, it actually kind of is playable, and that's kind of enough. So I mean, I would never release it, or I would never be able to sell it or make a product out of it in the state it is now. But I still get utility from it. I still get joy from it. So in that,
So now you mentioned the thing that buys purple stuff on Amazon and the AI Pong game. I have to ask one of those horribly cliched questions. Where do you get your ideas from?
I steal them.
Yeah, you have a really good place to steal from, I can tell.
The purple shopper thing, the buys random stuff.
Purple Scout? No?
Yeah, it's from where I worked at that point. And there was a bot that bought stuff on the dark web, like drugs and stuff. So I just copied that, but did it on Amazon instead. And the Pong thing is just... there is Robocode that's really old. I just copied that idea and put it in another game. And that's kind of an easy way to get started, like, or at least I like to do that. I like to combine easy stuff to make something a little bit more complex. Like it would be really easy to go from SingStar, like it could find the tone of my voice, and then put that to control a Pong paddle. So if I go, the paddle goes up, and if I go, the paddle goes down. Those are really easy. It's really easy to write a Pong game. It's not easy, but it's not terribly difficult. And the SingStar stuff is also easy if you have libraries to do it. The math behind it is hard, but it's easy to use now at least.
Yeah. So it's seeing a couple of things and then putting them together in a.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that's really good. That's also how you create something unique to you, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean you in the general sense as well. I mean, if I see two things over here and I put them together, unless someone else was there with me and saw those two things separately and thought the same thing, they'd say, "Ooh, how did they come up with that? That's so strange." And it's like, "Oh, that's so inspiring. I want to have ideas like that too."
and if you just expose yourself to ideas, you're gonna get synergies between them, and that's like Bring Your Own Project and Launch Hackers. Again, a lot of people come there with crazy side projects, and then you get ideas like, okay, he did a breath thing that analyzes the breath, and he does a meditation app. Maybe I could control my meditation with my breath thing. Like it's easy to copy stuff, but you have to see stuff to be able to copy them. So exposing yourself to ideas is...
Yeah, and I mean, it's not copying if you put them together in a new way. I mean, copying sounds like I write it down mindlessly, but this is... Which can be a good thing as well, of course.
Yeah, exactly. The world doesn't need another Pong game, but you need to create another Pong game.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a different thing.
Yeah,
right?
It's so true. So do you have any other meetups you would like to recommend?
A ton. I had a period a couple of years back when I went to on average 5 meetups per week. I really love meetups.
Yeah,
I've never been to the Sketch one though. And then that is because it has design in the name, and it's really weird. I fucking hate myself for thinking that way, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna go to the next one.
But we have some follow up from the last talk that you actually used. Sketch
we can talk about it later. Yeah. No, but there are really good meetups in Gothenburg. We have the Docker meetup. If you're into that, I think that's awesome. The React meetup is definitely one of the best ones out there. I really like the fact that Chalmers is so involved too. There are a lot of meetups that are based off of Chalmers, like functional programming, papers we love.
Yeah, Got.λ.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's really easy to not know anything. Like I didn't know anything about functional programming, but I went to Got.λ and I learned stuff. Yeah, and it's just interesting sitting there for 2 hours. Free food, some beer, and just hearing words that you don't know. It actually helps.
Yeah, it helps a lot. You see, like, oh, I understand those two things. And they put them together like this, and this kind of makes sense over here, but not this part. I have to look that up later. It's fascinating.
And side projects and going to meetups is, I think, an important part of developing as a developer, or learning new stuff as a developer, because it's a weird profession in that way, that if you don't learn anything new for a few years, it might be difficult for you, depending on,
and boring, I would say.
Yeah. But I mean, it's absolutely totally fine to see programming as something that you do for a living, not for a life. It's weird because but like having it as a job only. But if you're not like that, and I think a lot of people here don't see programming that way, otherwise I don't think we would be here. I think that meetups and obviously side projects is a good way to continually learn.
Yeah, move forward. And don't be afraid to start a meetup group either.
It's so easy.
Yeah, there's always room for more as well.
Yeah, and it's like, how do I get sponsorships for food and beers and non-alcoholic drinks? It's so easy. A lot of companies just want people to be at their offices.
Yeah,
it's so easy. I just emailed some company and said, can we be at your place? And they said, yeah, sure. Why didn't you ask us sooner? Yeah, it's incredibly easy.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and and make it your own thing as well. It doesn't have to be like every other meetup. I mean,
Yeah.
We actually turns out you can actually sit down and do stuff at meetups. It doesn't have to be talk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
It's fascinating.
I would love to see more workshop-y meetups.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that's about good time to end.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Erik. And
you.
Erik.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Let me put it this way, Mr. Raymer. The 9000 series is the most reliable computer ever made. No 9000 computer has ever made a mistake or distorted information. We are all, by any practical definition of the words, foolproof and incapable of error.